tonight.
I could barely even breathe at that point.
Regina parents call out an evangelical church for homophobia and trying to convert their teenage daughter. And Saskatchewan's film and television industry gets a big financial cash injection from the province. Plus, taking the plunge, Regina firefighters train for a new underwater dive team.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It's Thursday, October 20th. CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Hello, and thank you for joining us. A Regina family is speaking out against a church they say ambushed their 15-year-old daughter. The girl identifies as LGBTQ, and she says the church called her community demonic. Her family says it started when they saw the teen's water bottle covered in LGBTQ stickers. Laura Sharpaletti has more.
Instant regret as soon as I walked into the church and my leader was staring at my water bottle.
Sierra Dixon loved being a part of the Evangelical Free Church Regina Kids Club when she was little, and eventually, she volunteered there. Sierra came out to her family as LGBTQ+ in February. Then, in September, her relationship with the church changed forever. She was called into a meeting with the group leader and confronted about her sexuality. The leader used the term demonic and read her Bible verses about sinners.
She didn't outright call me demonic, but she sort of implied it because she thinks she can pray the gay out of me, so of course I can't be demonic. But when you ask to meet with me specifically and ask me if I'm part of the LGBTQ+ community and then say that my community is demonic, it is 100% at me.
Sierra was devastated.
She came running up the driveway, crying her eyes out, absolutely distraught.
Sierra's grandfather reached out to the church, voicing his outrage. It responded with a letter saying, "We want you to know that the church board is in complete agreement that LGBT persons are certainly welcome to come into this church. Actually, welcoming LGBT persons is nothing new for us. However, the organization of the church does require that a person in a position of leadership be a servant of Jesus Christ and of nothing else." The word demonic was being used to explain that everything that is not from the Lord is demonic, and we need to test the spirits as stated in 1 John 4, 1-16. Since then, Sierra has had trouble sleeping, crying fits, and even a panic attack during Mass at her Catholic school.
I couldn't breathe and I couldn't feel my hands or move them very much, and I was really scared.
Sierra says she never wants anyone to experience what she did at that church, and it's something she can't forget.
All the time, almost constantly. It's on my mind pretty much 24/7.
CBC reached out to the Evangelical Free Church Regina, but it would not comment. Sierra's parents want to see the church change.
The people aren't bad there, they're good people, but with these mindset that's just wrong. I don't have anything against this person. I'm hurt that they did this to my daughter, but in their mind, they were doing it out of love, and that's the scary thing.
In the meantime, the Dixons have informed the church that none of their children will attend the kids' club again. Laura Sharpaletti, CBC News, Regina.
Saskatoon and Regina are getting family law screening officers. They will support people going through a divorce or separation. The hope is these officers will help prevent interpersonal violence during times of family crisis. They will also assist survivors of intimate partner violence to navigate the justice system. That's according to the executive director of the Provincial Association of Transition Houses and Services of Saskatchewan.
The most important dynamic around intimate partner and family violence that needs to be recognized is an ongoing pattern of coercive control. So these are behaviors that seek to isolate the victim, perhaps keep them more dependent on the perpetrator through reducing their access to funds. They may try to do things like reduce the self-esteem of the victim and whatever they can within their power to prevent them from actually exiting the relationship in a safe way. A common myth is that when a survivor leaves the relationship, they will be safe and the children will be safe.
The officers will screen for family violence and identify possible warning signs like coercive control. And if they have any concerns, they will refer individuals to other resources. More Saskatoon police officers are getting body cameras. 6 months ago, 40 officers began wearing them as part of a pilot program. The Board of Police Commissioners heard today that another 40 will wear them next year. Sergeant Tom Gressy says officers are supposed to turn the cameras on as soon as they arrive on scene.
Analogy that we're using in training with our members is seatbelt on, seatbelt off. So if I'm a patrol officer and I'm dispatched to a call for service, upon my arrival to that call for service, prior to taking my seatbelt off to get out and start investigating, I'm going to start recording. And I'm going to continue to record the incident in its entirety until I'm done investigating, done with any enforcement action that there may be. And when I'm ready to drive away and put my seatbelt on, I'm going to stop recording.
Besides documenting what the police are up to, the cameras are being used to collect audio and video statements from witnesses and victims. The board also approved adding $750,000 to the 2023 police budget. That brings it to almost $114 million. A judge in Estevan has sentenced Travis Patron to a year in jail for promoting hatred against Jewish people. A jury found the Redvers man guilty earlier this month. The case stemmed from a video Patron posted in 2019. At that time, he was the leader of the Canadian Nationalist Party. In the video, Patron spoke about the, quote, parasitic tribe who he claimed controlled the media and Canada's central bank. He was charged in 2021. With credit for time served, Patron has 5 months left of his sentence. He's also been ordered not to post anything about Jewish people for a year after his jail sentence ends. The Regina Public Library Board wants to build a new central location, but some residents believe the downtown building should be repaired and improved instead. Alexander Kwan has more.
Regina's Central Library should be replaced. That's the message heard by the public Thursday during public consultations held by the Catalyst Committee. The panel has been tasked with shepherding 5 large projects that could shape the city's downtown for decades to come. They include a new aquatic facility, a replacement for the Brandt Center, a possible baseball stadium, an outdoor field, and the modernization of the Central Library. Earlier this week, the public was told that the library was built 60 years ago, when libraries were just about books. Now, it's not capable of offering the services expected of a modern library.
The library is about half the size it needs to be, that every time we are working with a new service, we have to figure out where are we going to puzzle it into the picture.
The Halifax Central Library, Calgary Central Library, and the recently revealed Saskatoon Central Library were held up as examples of what a new library can offer. A bright, central location that draws new visitors and spurs growth throughout the city's downtown, while offering programming that goes beyond just lending out books.
Halifax is just about 10 years old, and the growth in the neighborhood around that library is tremendous.
Officials say it would cost about $50 million just to keep the doors open at the Central Library facility, and to simply bring the facility up to code without being able to offer new services. A brand new building would cost approximately $125 million, something not everyone agrees with.
A great deal of money could be saved by the by reconstruction rather than constructing a new one all over again, and that money could be put towards ending homelessness in the city.
The plan for a new library is far behind the other projects being examined by the Catalyst Committee this week. A decision is far down the line. But some residents are calling for a simple repair and expansion in the existing space, while the board of the Regina Public Library has already voted for a new building. With $75 million separating the two decisions, this conversation is not yet over. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
If you've been planning to visit Saskatoon's Ramey Modern Gallery, you're in luck. The facility is dropping its entry fees. Starting Saturday, people can check out the art gallery by donation any day of the week. In the past, that was only possible on Wednesdays. The new Pay What You Can model is thanks to a $10 million donation from the Frank and Ellen Ramey Foundation.
You can pay $1, or you can, if you have a fabulous time, you can pay $100. There's no upper limit or lower limit. So it's to make sure that everybody feels like they can enter here without feeling the pressure of purchasing a ticket or being a member.
The gallery first opened its doors on Saskatoon's River Landing 5 years ago. Saskatchewan's film and television industry is getting another cash boost from the government. Creative Saskatchewan received $7.5 million in provincial grant money. This brings the total investment in the industry to $17.5 million this year. Last year, the grant was only $2 million. Filmmakers are applauding this move by the government. They say it will increase economic activity in the province and create jobs.
Hopes is that there'll be 140, 150 jobs that are created throughout the year, and then every year after that it should start doubling, and ideally we can get into the thousands. Some of the other jurisdictions have 40, 50, 60, 200,000 that are working, and we hope as the government continues to support the industry that we'll have more and more workforce here.
Trifo says the industry needs to build up its workforce, and the grant money will lead to about 150 jobs this year alone. The Rough Riders will be playing for a playoff spot on Saturday. It's the first game of a home-and-home series with Calgary to end the regular season. It's a situation they never thought they would be in when the season began. The team was supposed to challenge for the Grey Cup, just like they did in 2013. That's when Saskatchewan last hosted the event and won. Middle linebacker Darnell Sankey will contend for Defensive Player of the Year honors. He leads the lead in tackles, but that's no consolation for a season that could end 3 weeks too soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that crosses your mind, but it's something that exits my mind quickly too, because like I said, we just try to focus on the now. Only thing we can do is just continue to play. It's like we can't just roll over. We got 2 weeks left, go out with, 2 wins, that's the plan. And, whatever happens from there happens.
I mean, we're always optimistic, so we're super excited, just to go out there, and play a game again. And, like I said, in front of the home crowd, and so I don't think we were defeated. The guys we still have that confidence that we have, and the leaders in the room are amongst our team are, confident, and, we know we have to do in order, for us to get to the next step.
At this point, Saturday night's game is not officially a must-win for the Riders, but a Hamilton win over Ottawa tomorrow night will make it so. Any combination of Hamilton wins and Saskatchewan losses equaling 2 will wipe the Riders from the playoff picture. Game time Saturday at Mosaic Stadium is 5 o'clock. The fall outlook is looking good in the central part of the province. Migratory birds gathered along the South Saskatchewan River in Outlook this week, and even the bridge the locals have nicknamed Bob, that stands for Big Orange Bridge, matches the colors of the season. We'll be back after the break. If you've walked around Wascana Lake recently, you may have noticed some scuba divers in the water. They are part of a new underwater dive team of Regina firefighters. CBC videographer Richard Achikade caught up with the team at a recent training session.
One down. Today we're just wrapping up our week of training, so we're simulating a contaminated water dive. So we service the city of Regina. Our divers not only work hand in hand with our water rescue team, but in the unfortunate event there was a drowning in the city or surrounding, we would be the team that would have to go recover the body. Everyone got certified and ready to go in spring, so this is our first full season being ready to go. In addition to your typical scuba certifications, all our divers have to become rescue divers. And from rescue diver, then we take our public safety diver course.
He wants to get you out a little bit here. Keep going.
Yeah, if you noticed our yellow cord attached to our divers, that's our communications line. So it not only tethers our divers to shore, but we're also able to communicate between the divers that are in the water and our shore tenders and our comms personnel. So some of the things they might encounter could be body recovery, so there's biological hazard there. If we ever had to enter, say, a sewage lagoon or something like that, we could also be recovering possibly evidence for the police, or if any vehicle or anything like that entered the water, that we could go recover that as well.
The Regina dive team also trains with the RCMP and Saskatoon Police. One of the places they go is Lovering Lake near Chamberlain. There they've submerged a car, a radio tower, and other items to help with training.
This weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. 22 model clear out is on now.
Weather specialist Ethan Williams joins us now. Well, my lunchtime walk was pleasant today, but I hear things are about to change.
Yeah, a little bit of messier weather in our future, Natasha, and a little bit cooler as well. But yes, today still a very nice day. And in fact, the eastern portion of the province seeing the nice weather. Usually it's been the western side of the province that's been warmer. But today, Estevan, Coronach, Oxbow getting over 20 degrees. A little cooler as you work your way north and west. Now, another windy day for us as well. Those northwest wind gusts have been quite strong, especially in Swift Current today, where they got over 60 kilometers an hour a little earlier this afternoon. Starting to die down right now, but still a bit breezy. It's all because of a trough of low pressure that's moved through the province, and in fact, that trough also bringing some rain showers too. We saw a few around Saskatoon, mostly through central Saskatchewan, but now they're developing in the southeast of the province. Regina has left unscathed by those showers. Now, we are also watching our jet stream. That has been a real story these past few days, that nice big ridge that had built in place. But now you can see the jet streams flipped the other way. We're now getting some cooler air being brought down. Still quite warm in southern BC and Alberta, but watch as a large trough starts to develop in our jet stream, and that is going to be moving eastward. That's going to be dropping temperatures and making things a little bit messier at the surface as well. Tonight, we are looking for the possibility of some showers and lingering flurries in the far north, maybe some lingering showers as well in east central Saskatchewan. Those should now begin to evaporate through the night. We should be through those tomorrow afternoon. Really, the only part of the province is the far south tomorrow where we could see some showers and maybe in the very far north. But then we are watching a system, a Colorado low, developing, moving in Saturday, Sunday, and through Monday, and that could bring us some rain on Saturday in the southwest part of the province. Heavier precipitation, including, yes, snow for south central and southeastern Saskatchewan. Now, models are kind of disagreeing on exactly how this is going to play out, and we are still quite a few days out, and this has changed significantly in the last 24 hours. But I think right now it mostly looks like a rainfall event, and with our temperatures still above the freezing mark, we should see mostly rainfall. Now, these numbers might be a little bit high. Still, I think will be maybe between 10 and 20 millimeters, but the central part of the province will see relatively light precipitation compared to the south, as is the case with these Colorado lows. Snowfall, again, really not as much as rainfall, but these numbers still could even be a little bit high. So we'll have to monitor those going through the next few days. Again, this is really through the day on Sunday that we're going to be seeing the snow. So just keep in mind in case you do have any travel plans. Now, winds will still be breezy through the night tonight, especially far northeast part of the province. But until we get that system on Sunday, it's the calm before the storm, so to speak. We'll be seeing gusts really not too bad through these next couple of days. Regina, until we hit that system on Sunday, we are looking for a relatively pleasant day tomorrow. I think right just above seasonal for this time of year. Cloud cover builds in. We get close to the freezing mark Sunday as that system moves in. We'll be a tad breezy as well on that day. And then we stay single digits through the rest of next week. Saskatoon, we are looking for also a high of 12 tomorrow. And that I think you're really not going to be seeing as much in the way of precipitation as Regina, Natasha, so we will watch out as that system heads our way.
Thanks for that, Ethan.
You're welcome.
Your Excellency, the Honourable Dr. Dick.
Retired Saskatchewan Senator Lillian Dick was invested into the Order of Canada in Ottawa today. Dick is a member of the George Gordon First Nation and a first-generation Chinese Canadian. As a senator, Dick fought to stem violence against women, in particular missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. She also helped restore official Indian status to thousands of descendants of First Nations women. We'll be back after the break.
There are many people who elevate our community. CBC Future 40 will honor 10 Saskatchewanians under 40 making a difference. Nominate someone in your community today at cbc.ca/future40sk.
Canadian rock musician Jacob Hogard has been sentenced to 5 years in prison. Late this evening, the Crown Attorney said he was granted bail pending appeal. In June, a Toronto jury found him guilty of sexual assault causing bodily harm. Eli Glasner has the latest on this story.
There was a time when Jacob Hogarth, the lead singer of Headley, was one of the biggest rock stars in the country. Hogarth used that fame to meet women. He first connected with one Ottawa woman on Tinder, inviting her to Toronto, where they met at a hotel in November of 2016. What happened in that room led jurors to find Jacob Hogarth guilty of sexual assault causing bodily harm. Today, the former rock star received his sentence, 5 years in prison. With his wife in tears, Hogarth was led away in handcuffs. In a reasoning, Justice Gillian Roberts spoke of how Hogarth degraded and destroyed the Ottawa woman's life. She described Hogarth's many sides, both the charismatic rock star, but also the manipulative rapist. With the Crown looking for 6 to 7 years and defense pushing for 3 to 4, this legal expert says the judge played it safe.
The 5-year sentence to me met the mark. It was also the judge's way of sort of appeal-proofing a sentence appeal.
Outside the court, prosecutors supported the sentence.
Mr. Hogarth's conviction and sentence sends a message to the community that sexual violence will not be tolerated by our community, by anyone.
Prosecutors are also hoping it will encourage sexual assault survivors to contact authorities.
I think survivors are always listening. The assumption that they're not is not true.
After different outcomes, this advocate says the women she works with are watching closely.
So when someone in a position of power, like a musician or a professor or a politician, is held to account around sexualized violence, that sends a message that no matter your social location, you will be held to a standard that everyone else should be held to.
Meanwhile, Hogarth still faces a separate charge of sexual assault causing bodily harm for an incident that happened in Kirkland Lake, Ontario in 2016. Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
British Prime Minister Liz Truss has resigned 45 days after assuming the position. That makes her the shortest-serving Prime Minister in UK history.
Given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party.
Truss's resignation ends speculation her demise was imminent after her now abandoned plan for tax cuts triggered a market backlash. Yesterday, she said she was not a quitter. Yesterday also saw a cabinet resignation and open party divisions, even in Parliament. A new Conservative leader will be chosen by next Friday. Among those rumored to be vying for the job is the man Truss replaced, Boris Johnson. Ethan is back for our last look at tomorrow's forecast.
I think it's going to be a little calmer tomorrow, Natasha, in terms of those winds, only gusting up to around 30 as we get to 8 a.m. in Regina, 2 degrees with some sun and cloud. And as we head to the noon hour, that sun and cloud will stick around. Winds not really increasing all that much, getting very close to our daytime high of 11 degrees. Saskatoon, we're looking for partly cloudy conditions tonight at midnight. And then as we head into tomorrow morning, we're going to be a little bit cooler, around 3 degrees with some sun and cloud. And then as we head toward that noon hour, we are looking again close to 10 degrees as well. Winds out of the west, really not all that bad. Patricia was out for a walk this morning in Saskatoon. Speaking of, got this great shot of the leaves on the trees and the University Bridge along the South Saskatchewan River. And of course, I was near that location last night, Natasha, for our weather. It's a beautiful spot to be.
Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
That's it for us tonight. For news anytime, head to cbc.ca/sask or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel. Glenn Reed will be back with more local news at 11. Thanks for watching.